いチョイスだね。
Hey everyone, it's Mark. This is my recap for Pokémon Journeys episode 91. The Ghost Train will now depart. This was the 1176th episode of the Pokemon anime, and it featured the debut of Allister. It's not often that a new Galar gym leader shows up in the anime, so let's break down exactly what happened. The episode starts in Winden, of all places. We don't even get an explanation as to why Ash and Go are here, but apparently they are getting a connecting train to Stow-on-Side. As they get off the train, Ash accidentally bumps into some stranger, who is, of course, Allister. As Ash apologizes, he realizes that he caused Allister to drop his train ticket, so he tries to return it to Allister. Issue is, Allister is so introverted that he is literally running away from Ash, not wanting to speak to him. How exactly did this guy get to become a gym leader again? Anyways, they lose sight of Allister behind this mysterious door that leads to Platform 0. Seems pretty sketchy, but they walk on through the door, which heads down to this mysterious platform that pretty much looks haunted. An announcement comes in that the Ghost Train is about to depart for Stow-on-Side, and they actually catch a glimpse of Allister boarding the train off in the distance, so Ash and Go hurry on as well. Go seems a little put off by the whole Ghost Train thing, but they brush it off and decide to return the ticket to Allister, who is in the car at the front of the train. The first place that they run into is this luxury room, which has an odd keystone resting on a pedestal. And because Grookey never does anything worthwhile, I was not shocked in the slightest to see it cause Ash to bump into the odd keystone, knocking it off the pedestal. They try to pick it back up, but are unsuccessful, and while Ash is touching it, something seems to enter Ash's hand, and his body somehow absorbs it. Ash says he's fine, but well, he's definitely not. This leads to a good chunk of the episode dedicated to Ash switching between his regular state and his cursed state, not being able to control anything, and his cursed side is trying to scare Go. My favorite parts of this whole episode were when regular Ash would pop up from his subconsciousness, commenting on whatever cursed Ash was doing. This was a funny way to get Ash's side of the story. Anyways, they bump into a ton of Drifloon, and the anime really isn't afraid to get dark anymore. They go straight into Drifloon's spooky Pokédex entry about dragging kids into the afterlife, to which Cursed Ash tries to scare Go by getting the Drifloon to drag him to the afterlife. Cursed Ash is loving this little game, but regular Ash, not so much. We actually go to a scene inside Ash's mind or subconscious or wherever regular Ash is, and we see this green orb floating around him. He can't really do anything with it right now, so let's move on. The next car in the Ghost Train is overgrown to the point that I actually thought they had gotten off the train at first. I didn't realize that Roots and Dirt had actually just gotten inside the train somehow. Anyways, Go is really scared of this one, but Ash suggests that they play rock, paper, scissors to decide who will go inside first. Then, in a truly sinister turn of events, Cursed Ash cheats at rock, paper, scissors. Oh my gosh, that's probably the most evil thing that has ever happened in the Pokemon anime. Regular Ash is distraught about seeing this betrayal. This had to be my favorite screenshot of the entire episode. What happens next was very weird. I'm not even sure why Nincada were on the Ghost Train in the first place, but a group of them suddenly evolve before our eyes into Ninjask, and then they just start flying around and hitting Go, who can't defend himself because Cursed Ash is holding back on his arms. What is going on? Pikachu saves the day with a Thunderbolt, and then out of nowhere, Go's Pokedex announces that Shedinja has been added to his Pokedex, and apparently this was how the anime adapted Shedinja's evolution. In the games, an Nincada that Go actually owns would have needed to evolve for this to work, but I guess as far as the anime is concerned, just being around a Nincada evolving can cause a Shedinja to appear in someone's Pokeball. Makes me wonder whether Ash had any extra Pokeballs with him. It would be very unlike him to not have any extras in case he wanted to catch something, but only Go got a Shedinja. I'm definitely just reading into things too much here. Let's overlook that detail and just move on. Guess who finally decides to show up again? It's Allister, and he's very confused how and why Ash and Go are here, but there's no time to worry about that because the Spiritomb woke up back in the luxury car from that odd keystone that Grookey, knocked over. Go's Pokedex points out that Spiritomb is made out of 108 spirits, and that some of them are ill-natured. Speaking of which, Allister hears the Spiritomb say, "Return the spirit," and it turns out that one of Spiritomb's ill-natured spirits is what got inside Ash and is causing him to act so strange. Pikachu tries to shock the spirit out of Ash, but Ash takes it off pretty easily and even just says Spiritomb as if it's the actual Pokemon. By the way, Cursed Ash with the Spiritomb face looked awesome in my opinion. The train is getting shaken all over the place at this point, but that actually helps because it causes a root fruit to fall from the ceiling and knocks Ash clean out. Go is ready to try and fix the situation, but Allister is more hesitant. Go steps in and begs him to help Ash before running off to confront Spiritomb. Allister has Ash drink some Sinistea, which he says will drain Ash's life force. Seems like a risky strategy to me, but okay. We can't tell if this worked right away or not, but Ash's reaction to the taste was pretty funny. This Ghost League remedy does actually purge the spirit from Ash's body, however the spirit doesn't know what to do and runs to hide in Ash's shadow. That's what is happening in the shot, it's diving into Ash's shadow. Ash knows what to do though and calls out Gengar so that it can dive in after the spirit. Allister is impressed by this choice, he's clearly a fan of Gengar, but more on that later. Gengar dives into Ash's shadow and is able to catch the spirit. Meanwhile, at the back of the train, Go is using Absol to battle Spiritomb, but it's not going well. In fact, Absol is about to get nailed with a Shadow Ball, but Gengar is there to save the day. How its psychic is able to affect Absol, I have no idea, but again, I guess we'll just overlook that detail for now. Gengar starts phasing in and out of different objects and parts of the train, and eventually it jumps out of a piece of wood or something like that, and gets close enough to force the spirit back into Spiritomb, which is finally able to calm it down and subdue it. Later, the ghost train comes to a stop, and this group of ghost types takes the odd keystone out of the train. Allister explains that this train is meant to transport ghost-type Pokemon, and he's the only human who rides it. They eventually get to Stow-on-Side, and the episode comes to an end when the group gets off the train. Allister seems to be showing some interest in Gengar, but is still acting shy. Just as Ash is about to return Allister's train ticket, he and the ghost train have totally disappeared. What? I'm giving this episode a 7 out of 10 rating. I thought this was a fun episode, I don't really have any complaints about it, but I wasn't blown away by anything either. I thought it was a fun little story that was a fitting way of introducing Allister in the anime. Like I said earlier, I enjoyed the cursed Ash moments, and I liked regular Ash getting angry at himself even more. Go was pretty solid in this episode as well, being able to convince Allister to help his friend, even though Allister didn't want to. Absol may not have fared too well against that Spiritomb, but at least it was cool to see it for the first time since it got caught, which was, what, like almost 30 episodes ago? It was very strange to me that we never found out why Ash and Go were headed to Stow-on-Side in this episode. I guess there was too much going on to include a segment at the Cerise Lab to begin the episode, but I thought this caused the episode overall to lack some kind of purpose, really. I do have a feeling that we may get that reasoning in the next episode though, so I'm not overly worried about it. Gengar having a shining role in this episode was a nice change of pace. I'm past the point of expecting it to do anything that special, but I know a lot of people love Ash's Gengar and want to see more of it, so I'm guessing they really loved this episode because of that. Overall, a decent episode. Not sure if it would make my top 10 list for the best scary or creepy episodes of the anime, but you can of course go watch that video if you haven't already. The link is in the top right of your screen. Let's move on to the next episode, and it looks like it's basically a continuation of where this episode left off. Ha! Take that, people who dislike Journeys for being episodic. Anyways, Ash and Gengar want to Gigantamax. I guess Allister is going to lead them down this path, but since Gengar doesn't have the Gigantamax factor, they're going to need to find some max mushrooms in order to make some max soup. Seems like a cool concept. I'm sure the episode will end with Gengar Gigantamaxing, and I wonder if Go will get any max soup for himself. Before I go, let's talk about the announcement about the upcoming special. We don't actually have a whole lot of information about this one, but apparently at the end of January, they're going to release some special Journeys episodes to promote Pokémon Legends Arceus. I don't think it's even confirmed whether or not these special episodes will be considered canon, but I don't really care one way or the other. I do kind of wish Chloe would be involved instead of Dawn, but I understand why they have Dawn instead of Chloe. Whatever's going to happen in these specials looks exciting, and you can bet that I will have reviews of them as soon as possible. Apparently they will be subbed, just not right away, so I'm not actually sure what my plan is for reviewing them just yet, but you guys can always keep up with me on Twitter and Discord to stay up to date, as well as interact with me and many other lovely, charming people. That's all I've got for now though. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time.